Okay, it's 7 o'clock. We'll begin planning board meeting for June 14th. If everybody would please rise for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the
Flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I appreciate it.
Go ahead.
Cliff Rebuffo,
Yes, here.
Art Christie,
Yes, here.
Joanne Kalb, John Horn,
Here.
Alan Shiner, Sam Spada, Vivian Wilton.
Here.
Okay, did everyone have a chance to review the minutes?
Yes.
Yes.
Any comments or questions?
Excellent as usual.
Thank you.
There's a lot.
A lot of work.
I
Yes.
tried.
Yes.
A lot was said, yeah.
All right.
I'll make a motion to accept them as printed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
There's nothing actually on the agenda, but I know that people had hoped to come to the workshop last month that got canceled, and that's who we invited to attend.
So let's start. You just had to update us, so why don't you go first?
Great, thank you so much. Yeah, hi. So if you remember, I'm Matt Moss from Firelight Camps. Not here today with any specific requests, but frankly, I was in town and I just wanted to give an update as to where the project is. We were last here about a year ago, and things have not kind of moved as quickly as we had hoped, but our project is still very much moving forward. We spent much of the last year working on the approvals and permits we need from the various agencies, and we've been almost entirely successful on that front. There's one approval that we need remaining regarding stormwater and DEP, but in the last year we've gotten approval from the renewal of our approval from the Ulster DPW for the curb cut. We've gotten approval from the Ulster Department of Health, Ulster County Department of Health on our sewer system and our water system. And from the town of Shandaken, we've gotten a building permit and a floodplain development permit and a logging permit. So we have almost everything we need. Just the last piece of the puzzle is the approval of our stormwater system, the SWIP by the DEP. The design of that system is being finalized right now, and we hope to have it submitted within days, and then it'll be all about how quickly the DEP turns around the approval. But it is our expectation that, well, we were hoping to start construction, around now and be open next year. I think it's maybe more likely at this point that we start construction this winter and open in May of 2025. So that's where the project sits. We're totally committed to it. We purchased the land. I think last year when we came here, we were still under contract to purchase. We've since purchased the land. And that's it. Just a quick update. I don't know if there's any questions. If you guys have any questions, happy to deal with them. No?
No, thank you.
I
Thank you
missed
for the
what
update.
project are we talking about?
Oh, I'm
Firelight.
sorry, this is Firelight at Uncle Pete's Campground.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you for the
So we're
update.
Yeah, appreciate the
Yeah.
update. Good luck, Matt.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Sure.
Put these up there so you, I only made two because it's a workshop. and
Sure, we can
it's
share.
pretty big, and I know we're gonna be making additions and changes. There's two sets. 2 pages in each set.
Did you have your name for the minutes? I'm sorry.
Okay, I just gonna fix this, and then you gotta go back to the microphone, right?
Ah, yes, please. Lucky you.
Okay. Michael North from North Engineers Design Associates. I'm representing Aerostar Petroleum. They purchased the Bel Air something, and the mobile station and laundry there. And we want to upgrade that facility, improve it and expand it some. And that's what the plans are for. We've done a lot of these similar kinds of things, but this one's got a few challenges, like the mountain behind it. One of the pictures I put in there is a facility that we did in Monticello. It's a kind of style of the building that this one may be slightly different. We're doing a couple different styles in the way of like dormers or roofs over the entries. So our plan is to install a new, and I've also talked to the DOT today. They are going to require us to do curbs. I didn't know if they would, being it's this rural out here, but for something of this volume, they want curbs and, you know, driveway controls. So we'll be doing that. That's not on the design yet. I'm going to have a meeting with them to see, you know, what we can negotiate, because we want big openings so that the tractor trailer can come in and fill the tanks, and they want small openings so people behave well. And so we always have a little bit of a negotiation on that count. But it'll be similar to where the entrances are now. I don't think we want to get into moving telephone poles or any of that stuff.
What about the overall size of the developed space?
So the existing
as
space is the existing space on the property, and that's a little bit of an illusion because the state or the city, whoever owns that here, I know the city owns DO 28 somewhere else. I don't know if they own it up here or not, but that's neither here nor there. DOT still runs it. They own quite a bit. Their ownership is wider than normal. And so what we have is the canopy, for instance, is the existing, which is in the upper corner of the drawing. The canopy that's there now is overhanging the state's land. The tanks are partly on state land. So the property that the owners own, the part of that that's existing is a little under half an acre. And that's between the pavement and the buildings and the clearing in the back of the buildings, which isn't much. And we're going to disturb about a half an acre more, which means we'll be disturbing half an acre. You know, and as the previous person mentioned, you know, we'll try to keep the stormwater regulation delays down to a minimum. And DEP is, of course, going to be on top of it, right there on 28. So, but there's nothing for me to give them until we're, you know, further along in the process. They'll be watching the erosion control and stuff like that for sure. So yeah, our plan is to create some retaining walls to create the space that we need for a decent gas station. It'll also include a Dunkin' Donuts and a convenience store. So and a liquor store. That's the plan. And
Is
then
this going to be removed and new built?
Yes.
Or is it, okay.
This is there's the property, that's that disturbing space there.
Okay. I was just wondering if they were saving any part of it.
No, I mean, I'm not an expert on that building. In fact, I've never been in it, but from what I see driving by many times, I don't imagine it's a great building, quality-wise. But we also plan to keep the laundromat function by putting up a new building for that, because I think that's important for the community. So that's our plan. If you've got any questions, I know that those plans are not complete yet. I've got to do a bit more on what the lighting is. I mean, I've done a lot of site plans. I know that when if it gets to that point, you're gonna send it to the county, and, they always wanna know more about lighting. You know, that property isn't close to anything else, so we won't end up with light spilling over onto anybody else's property. And of course, we'll be using downlights, which are kind of basically required these days. No broadcast lights.
What about the underground storage tanks? Those have to be relocated?
Yeah. I think, I don't know how old the ones are that are in there, but I think I can tell you that the guy in Kingston was pleased to hear that we might be taking
Putting new
the oil
ones in.
tanks off of the state property.
So the current operation is shut down now,
Yeah.
and for how long?
Well, we'd like to get going as soon as we can, but these things never go as fast as you want.
It's been less than a year they've been closed, hasn't it? Hasn't been that long.
would know, right? How long, when did they close?
Second week of December.
So,
6 months, so short
It's been-
time, that's good.
I'm trying to translate what we're saying here. It's been closed for 6 months,
right.
and it's gonna be closed for many, many more months until you start this, until this is finished. So it's out of commission for,
Nothing much we can do about it.
you know, well,
So,
we could just keep,
the first thing we want to do is get the tanks out, and that usually requires some additional cleanup. DEC's involved with that. I imagine DEP will be looking also, but the DEC is the one that regulates the repair of tanks, that sort of thing.
So this building that you're showing for an example, is that also a one-story building? Okay, so those upper windows are just like,
For light,
yeah.
for a big space, to bring in light,
Mhm.
Is
more
that-
energy efficient than skylights.
Is there existing well on this property you'll be reusing, or?
No, because there's municipal water.
Oh, municipal
and
water,
sewer,
right, yeah.
Which affected our setback regulations. I mean, I have the zoning table on there. I think it would have been 5 feet more setback if it didn't have water and sewer. Surveyor got the water and sewer connections, the manholes, I should say, shown on the plan.
so it's gonna remain a gas.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Remain mobile.
Go ahead, Art.
I was just laughing 3 times. I wanted to say something so it's an existing, or at present, convenience store, gas station, laundromat, and I remember there was a little place to go in there and eat, right? And the new building is going to be the same thing, just upgraded, gas station,
exactly.
convenience store.
Yes.
So there's really no change in use.
No, exactly, basically, changes the Dunkin' Donut we had on.
Yeah, but that would equal what you had before, where people came in and bought sandwiches and ate there and whatever.
Yes.
Okay.
I think it's a good thing that you're thinking about the entrances, because there have been times where there were cars in the ditch there. More
Yeah,
than once.
well, I talked to, in fact, I'd like to know what the board, I mean, you people live here or near here, any of you out that far?
I live there,
Okay.
on the mountain that you were talking about, where the water runs off.
Uh-huh. So well, what I was wondering, because I'm going to be talking to DOT, although they may have their opinion, what you're talking about is an entrance and a separate entrance and exit instead of a free form, which is what it is now. That's what they usually want. If they're going to give you 2 entrances, otherwise they're only going to give you 1 entrance typically. They're going to give you 2, with one will be incoming and the other will be outgoing. So the question in my mind is like, where are most people coming from? Are they going to be coming from this direction, or are they going to be coming from
Both
Bel Air?
on the way to ski and on the way home.
Yeah, both, really,
Yeah,
yeah.
I know they do
both, both.
Of course, busier in the winter time.
They're funny. We've had them, on the Phoenicia Plaza. They didn't want entrance and exit. They were,
Well, their preference is a one entrance, but this is a big.
no, there's two entrances. They didn't want them one way though.
Really?
Yeah, yeah,
Well, we'll see if we can get that, but,
yeah. We,
we should.
So as of now, there's no curve, it's all,
It's
Do it
just
yourself.
edge of pavement, and there's actually kind of a hole. This might be a ditch that you were somebody was talking about, but.
yeah,
But the
that's
bus-
where people have ended up,
the
yeah.
bus comes in, now there's gonna be a curve and the bus,
Well, we got a big tractor trailer in too, so that's why I said we try to negotiate a good size opening. Because you don't want the tractor trailer stopping on 28 in order to do a 90-degree turn,
Yeah.
you know.
all this in 100 and some odd feet.
Yeah. Are you gonna continue, or just, they had there's a Trailways, you could buy Trailways tickets there, I believe.
Yes.
That's something to continue also.
It's a convenient for people, right? But again, if the town guys not, some morning, that can be stopped, but you know, I'm not gonna go against the town. Because cause an issue with that, with those buses, you know, we don't have to be selling things
I mean, I don't see that as an issue. I think it's a positive for the community.
That's up to you
personally.
guys.
Yeah,
Is it going to be a Trailways bus stop, or it is already?
that's what I said it's good.
You send the tickets, but that means you
Well-
can actually catch the bus there
Yes.
too. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, from the point of view of the owners and the operators, anything that brings in more traffic is good. I mean, if they're selling stuff in the convenience store.
Well, it's a good spot right by the ski mountain. There's a town right across there, so people have access, to a bus that they can walk to. Laundromat.
It's good neighborhood business.
Yeah, no, I think it's great to see that go back into business. We received a,
I just took a picture of the building also. But I also have, pictures of the front of what's existing. This is Tariq, he's the
Actually, we got
principal for Aerostar.
two different designs, we got that design and we got this one. So that's up to the town, which one you guys prefer. A little bit modern.
the same square footage.
Yeah.
Same square footage, just different facades.
This be a little bit bigger, this is 5,000 square feet.
Okay.
This be because of the liquor store, Dunkin' Donut and convenience store, probably like 7,000 square feet.
Yeah, that's what we've laid out, 72.
Some bit right there.
And then the lawn is a separate building.
I like this one.
That's up to you guys, it'll be out of nobody's about.
Well, so the questions that I guess I would have is, I went through the detailed list on the site plan approval, and in there, there's a couple things I just didn't have time to do, which is like the exact, they're asking for information on the elevations and cross-section of the building. So, it does matter which one will be designed.
Sure.
It's only a one-story building, so, but still, the one that's that big a footprint, gotta work out how we're holding up the roof.
And this is connected to the sewer
Yes, the sewer and the water are
and the
both
water.
there on that side.
And you want to continue the liquor store as well? The liquor store, you want to
Yeah.
continue
Yeah.
that use as well?
Yeah, we figured
It'll
out,
be little bigger and that, I guess, more.
And you referenced code specific to gasoline stations. I haven't seen this. When you were preparing this, you found that in our code?
no.
There are specific standards here.
Oh, okay.
I can
didn't see
email them
that.
to you, or I can just give you the code reference.
Yeah, thank
The
you.
use isn't, it's an allowable use by special use permit in the zone, so it's not as though
Sure.
that pre-existing needs to come
No, we
into
just have
play,
to
but
make
there
sure it
are
all slots into,
1, 2, 3, 4, there are 9 conditions here under gasoline stations with service or sale.
What section is that?
116-40,
116?
and you're looking under section D.
and is it gonna be, I see Dunkin' Donuts written here. And there'll be, is there gonna be food as well inside besides the Dunkin' Donuts? Like, sandwiches or like a Subway type thing, deli function?
Most likely not, if you got that guy on, not gonna have that.
You know, if they're selling sandwiches and stuff now, you know, sometimes the condition of the lease, what you can sell in the store. You know, other stores, you might be having a deli or a coffee counter, but, you know, you can't conflict with your own tenant, you know?
That's right.
Is there a sign requirement for Dunkin' Donuts?
Yeah, they like to have one on the main road, then they need a mobile sign.
You see, I put signs, and I put a sample of
Yeah.
a sign from, what we applied for in the award. I thought somebody'd make a comment about the gasoline prices, but,
Are they very low?
on the new one, it's very low. On the old one, which is actually a picture of what's there now, prices are quite high.
That's basically most, that's the sign going to be on the road.
We have a height requirement, right?
Well, this is, you have to be
35 feet.
existing sign there
So,
now.
yeah, there's no way at one story or with the stories will be. And I see a drive-through window here.
Yeah. Yeah, Duncan wouldn't do it if you didn't have one.
You have to have a drive-through. I don't know anything about the,
So will there be other items for sale, like at a usual gas station convenience store?
Oh,
Okay.
definitely.
So there'll be drinks in a cooler and
Big-
chips and
big wall
snacks and,
coolers and
uh-huh.
beer cave and, I mean, sometimes I think they probably put more things in too, and, you know, depending on what is nearby. I mean, if you were located near a grocery store, you probably have less food items. If you're away from one, then you
Yeah.
probably have more.
Is there a freestanding sign there already?
Yes,
yes.
there's a picture of it on the.
Oh, I'm trying to remember.
Oh, that's
what
their,
was
that's their old sign.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Oh,
the
I took
sign-
that picture from, that's a picture from Google Street View.
Would your sign be in the same location, same
Yeah.
size?
Well, partly because it's on state land, so it's a lot easier for us to leave it alone.
Yes.
Well, the freestanding sign isn't allowed in the district, but it predates code, so if you're gonna leave it alone, make it
Yeah,
the
it's in
same
the
size.
setback, it's big, it's, yeah, there's a whole bunch of things. Yes. The, I don't even know what questions to ask at this moment, but the drive-through and the location with like traffic flow.
Well, if it wraps around the building, they want it, Duncan has
Okay.
strict requirements, they want a certain amount of stacking,
Okay.
you know, so,
So you'd come in at the back,
yeah, you come in the back and
And then
wrap
come-
around.
and then come
So,
out
you
and
know,
then-
Otherwise, you could have people, that park out in the road almost.
that kind of seems like it answers the exit question
Yeah.
that you had.
Yeah.
Otherwise there'll be people.
Now, is the new building going to be much further back into the,
Actually, the front corner of it's about the same as the main part of that building. That building, you can see it on the drawing, the bulk of that building met your setback requirement of 25 feet, but then somebody had a 12-foot addition or so that stuck out into so we won't have that. But the corner of our building is right at the setback. I mean, we want it as far forward as we could have it so that people can see it, particularly when they're coming up from
Sure.
Kingston direction, you know, there's a mountain, the hill there, the trees in the way.
Yeah.
So we want the building, that's one of the reasons we put the building, one of the two reasons why we put the building on that side of the property. It's on the mountains, it's on the Bel Air side of the
the
property.
drive-through is going to be behind the building?
Yeah,
I thought there's a mountain.
there is. We're gonna have to do retaining walls.
It's another reason you want it as far forward as possible.
Yeah.
I don't see a drive-through on this map here.
I think I just have an arrow pointing at the little projection that sticks out.
116-40.
Oh, I see a drive-through window.
Yeah, that's.
So
that's
where
all.
would they driving take place?
All the way around the building. They come in here
Come
and
in.
go all the way around. And
So this is the road here.
Yes,
So they would come in wherever you come into the gas station,
right,
and then you come around the gas pumps and around like that.
yes.
And then the tractor trailers would come in the same way, or is there a,
Yeah, but we envision that we're
We're
gonna put
through
the
here.
tanks over in here.
Okay.
in this
That's where I
vicinity.
stopped to get my coffee and donuts.
and is there a place for them to turn around and come back out?
They can go under the canopy. right?
Yes, they do.
It's a
They-
godsend,
Okay.
does it?
The canopy is 15 feet high, the trailer is 30 something.
Right. I mean, as far as
The only
turning.
thing extra is the donut.
Okay. So even if there is only one entrance exit, they could come all the way around and come back down?
I believe we've already gotten a letter from,
We do, yeah, we have we
Yeah.
received a letter from the director of the Pine Hill Community Center in support of this project. Yeah, I can't imagine
So
anybody in
does
the community
every
would be
gas
against
station
that.
that sells Dunkin' Donuts require a drive-up window?
Well, they had a time for a little while where they were selling Dunkin' Donuts, like, they was dropping them off. It wasn't a Dunkin' Donuts, franchise. They were, because I know there was one in Saugerties, near, it was a test station, and they.
There's one in Margaretville too. They just have a
would
little,
They just had a rack with some.
Right.
Right.
They're not
Some
gonna
old
be,
Dunkin' Donuts.
they're not gonna be
Yeah.
taken, they're gonna deliver.
But there would be a full place where they can make their sandwiches and stuff like that. It's not the same as what we're talking about.
Yeah, I
And I
understand.
think they've gone away from that. Do they still have those donuts?
Yeah, I've been in,
Since they don't in the Saugerties.
Margaretville has them, I know that. There's a
yeah,
gas
there's
station
one in
there.
Bedford Hills that has it.
They did away with the one on
They
Route
have,
28
they have
also.
10 store, they have on one place, they have kitchens, so then they, with the truck, they deliver and all.
I know Catskill just has a Dunkin' Donuts with no drive. Or do they?
And they recently done,
but it's its own storefront.
It's its own
It
storefront.
doesn't, it's not like a part of anything else.
Right, it's its own, yeah, it's its own.
well, they recently got rejected from a place in West Hurley where it was a very small lot and were trying to do a drive-through only. And freestanding drive-through only, but between the loop and the bypass loop, you ended up, and they were right at that traffic light of 375 and 28.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
you know, one of the problems was they wouldn't allow them to come back out onto 28 in the Kingston direction. So they-
Understandable.
That's a
they
tough
had all
spot,
kinds
yeah.
of hairpin turns and things like, you know, it's gonna be a
That's a
real
tough
problem.
spot, yeah.
Yeah.
That was just a curiosity. Nothing.
I guess we should just go through the site plan checklist at the next meeting.
There's no actual paperwork before this. They haven't submitted like the
Yeah.
That's what I'm
applications or
saying.
anything yet.
Get
So,
everything.
you have the code section, the specific code section that refers to this project.
11640, that's what.
Yep, just review that and make sure, make sure everything's in line with those parameters. That's it,
Okay.
yeah. Thank you.
It'll be much cleaner and much better what you have there, so.
Yeah, I think, I think it'll be nice. Good to have it back in action and certainly in need of an update.
Okay. I leave one set for you. or
I'd appreciate it.
Yes,
That's okay
please.
with you.
I'll be basically similar, but with more stuff on them next time. I'll take the one.
You want me to send it up to you?
Hey, Art, where is it that I know you from? What kind of projects? Or shouldn't we talk about it here?
You know, I didn't recognize you, but I'm thinking, my gosh, it's got to be 40 years ago that we worked together on several projects
Yeah.
over in Woodstock.
You want that set on here?
Yes,
Yeah.
please. Grace would need stuff.
I don't recognize people anymore,
Keep, save that, Art.
and I don't understand it because I haven't changed at all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's good seeing you again, Mike.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night, everyone.
You too.
Good night.
See you next one.
We have more business?
One more.
Yes. Sorry, I don't have anybody's names in front of me, so,
Good night.
good night. Good luck.
My name is Pam Beach, and I'm here because you want me here.
That's correct.
My husband Fred is the barber from Phoenicia,
Mhm.
and our goal is to move the barber shop to the Phoenicia Plaza, where the pizza shop is. And he apologizes he's not here, but he's open making pizza tonight, so, yeah. So that's why I'm here. I guess if you guys have questions?
Yes. Just want to, so you want to, the pizza place is where the pizza place is, and the barber shop is going to be where the dining room was, is that?
Yeah, if you go, you can actually go and see it. The dining room, it's basically, it's a 7 by 15 area of the dining room. You have the dining room kind of in half, maybe part of it storage and an office area, and then the front half would be a single chair just for Fred, the barber, very part-time.
So no dining room.
No, there is a dining room. We lost about 20 seats, I believe.
So it's half dining room
Yes.
and then half barber shop storage.
Right, but the barber shop has its own door, inside the pizza shop though.
Okay.
I have met with Corey from Board of Health, a couple times, he's seen the space, he's seen the door, he's seen how it's all laid out, so they don't have a problem with it at all, so that's where we're at. There's no water to it, it's just a single chair, maybe 2 people can talk to him at once, but that's about it.
You're saying there's no water?
Well, the bathroom is, would be a common bathroom, and the
Mhm.
dining room has
Uh-huh.
its own bathroom.
But you need water to wash
No, he
things?
doesn't wash hair.
Okay.
He doesn't wash hair.
You're going to enter
They just take
through
this stuff
the
and then-
pizza
Yeah.
parlor to the barber shop?
Yeah.
It does not have its own entrance
It does
outside?
not have its own entrance outside.
The health department gave you approval for
Yeah,
that?
he's been there twice. We talked to him before, and then after we put the wall up and the door in and stuff.
Do you have any drawings or anything?
I did kind of drop off, Fred kind of drew something.
Can you grab it, people?
If they want to see it. Otherwise, like I said, you can pretty much, at this point, go and see it, because it's, to get the pizza shop open, we had to get the wall up to get the dining room
Sure.
done, so, it's ready to just move the barber chair over to the new space, and he's only gonna be open like probably 15 hours a week.
So is someone else taking over the barber shop in Phoenicia?
I believe so. Fred has somebody another barber, who will be taking over that spot over there.
Is that's
Why
only?
is this fall on our purview?
Is it
Changing
inside?
use?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
If it was just the dining room and the pizza place, it would just be.
Yeah, it's changing names.
But still retail, right? Doesn't it all, aren't they all the same use?
No, because each particular retail business has different requirements for parking and things like that.
But what if all the requirements are equal?
But they're not.
The barber shop is actually less, the dining room takes up
More
That's
parking.
right.
water, more
Sure.
parking and stuff
Yeah.
like that, so, than the
Yeah.
barber shop does.
You actually removed required parking spaces before you did.
Correct.
I don't, yeah.
And we
I
dropped
don't see
the
a
dining
problem
room.
with it, it's just like, yeah.
No,
It has to be unprecedented, there can't be a video
I
in
didn't
a
have
barber
as much
shop.
trouble when I opened up in Phoenicia.
In
Got a
pizza
sign in it,
place,
and that was it.
Yeah.
And that was a
It's a
camping
new
store.
thing, get a haircut and
Yeah.
have a pizza at the same time.
Yeah. That's what they were joking about, his customers been coming in already, and they're like, okay, we can
You gotta
order
order,
a pizza, get our
I said they
haircut,
order
pick
some
up our
wings and
pizza,
go get a
leave.
haircut, yeah.
We had no car here yesterday all day. And we went down there.
Get a piece, have your piece trimmed.
Slice and a shave.
They're choking us.
We try to come up with combo names.
I know, yeah. That could,
Yeah. Forgot
Dining
cheese.
room, let me orient it this way, then that's this week or you
Did you have the plain spinach pizza?
no,
The arch.
28's out there, just the back door. That's 28.
Yeah.
The spinach pizza
Oh, okay,
we did
Yes.
40 years ago.
okay.
Arches.
Here's the barber shop.
I appreciate it kind of appreciate it, right?
Spinach
Yeah,
arches.
I was there the night before last having pizza, so you come in here, this is the door into the barber shop, I saw that. And-
Oh, the wall is up already?
What?
Is the wall up?
Yes.
Yeah, it's all doors
Yeah.
and
I
walls
think they're
up.
ready, like, I think they're ready to go.
Yeah. Okay.
And all the requirements would be less.
Yeah,
I don't see an issue with it.
I don't either.
Can we get, like, for the record, something from the health department? Just that they're
I
okay
don't
with it?
know, but
Yeah, just if you get an approval that from the health department, and
well,
then,
I know, like I said, Corey's been out there twice.
Yeah.
He was out there before I even did anything. I wanted to make sure
yeah.
that they were gonna be okay with it.
Yeah.
And then he didn't see a problem as long as there was a self-closing door between the barber shop and the dining area, which there is. And, yeah, when he came back, because we just had our final inspection for the pizza shop this past week, so he saw the space finished and done. And
It looks great. I was down there yesterday.
Okay.
It looks wonderful.
Did you see the barber shop?
I did not. I
Okay.
did not see the barber shop.
So you guys are officially open for pizza? You're like,
Yeah, yeah.
that's
And
great.
it was good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Great to have that place reopened again.
Yeah.
But if that would help, like Clifton said, if you could just get it from the health department, that way we can put it in the file and if there's
Yeah,
ever,
I don't know what they didn't offer me any paperwork or anything.
well, you're gonna have to ask for it.
Okay,
Just tell him the town's asking for it, and
Okay.
he'll give you something.
okay. I can do
Good.
So what is your plan for the sign?
that. The sign's already up also,
Okay,
just because I had,
but it includes the barber shop sign?
this barber shop sign is up too.
I issued them sign permits, there's no
Oh, okay.
time.
Yeah.
What's that?
The barber shop sign is actually the same sign that, we took it from Phoenicia and brought it up to
It's just like.
Plaza, so it's the same sign.
Yeah.
So it's two signs then?
Plan, maybe?
No, it's just the
Yeah.
pizza shop has its own sign.
Yeah.
And its own permit, and the barber shop has its own sign.
Right.
But the sign is the original sign from Phoenicia. We just
Okay,
had it
it's
moved
small
over.
sign.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's kind of
Existing.
small rectangle.
Yeah.
I think it's a picture of it.
Well, I remember
You
it,
can drive
yeah.
by it up.
Yeah.
It's just a small.
So it's not up in Phoenicia anymore?
No.
Okay.
We closed the barber shop in Phoenicia, waiting now pending to move.
Mhm.
Once you guys say no problem, he'll move his chair over. Anything else?
And we're all smiling.
Okay, good, good.
Thank you.
This is a wonderful evening. Two
Yeah.
wonderful businesses.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting for us. I'm happy that we're on the trajectory has changed and now
Yeah.
we're open, so
Mhm.
hopefully now we have some income instead of just outgo.
Well, that's always the goal.
But that went pretty fast, you know, ended up with a nice store to begin with, but
Mhm.
just cosmetic stuff in there.
Do you have a lot of business today for your opening?
Yeah, yeah.
Even with
he's
the
been
rain,
busy, so
good.
Just trying to figure out,
People are excited.
yeah.
Yeah, last
they
night,
are.
last night was a good crowd.
Yeah, and this, I can't believe the support of the community, it's just been
Mhm.
wonderful. It's really quite nice. So.
Oh, we've been waiting a long time for pizza.
Yeah, well, it's funny because Fred was a pizza guy. When he was 22, we bought our first pizza shop,
Oh,
and he was next to a barber. And he always used to say, who has it better than the barber? He gets to go home by 4 o'clock, you know. So as time went on, he decided to become a barber. So he was a pizza guy turned barber. So now here, he's the barber
Turn
turned
pizza guy.
40 years later. So,
It's
well,
wonderful.
thank you so much.
Do we want to push this through to site plan or just say, or are we just holding off on
I
that?
think, I think it's fine. I don't think this needs more.
Yeah, I think we're okay.
I think we're fine. I mean, it's the existing, all the tough stuff is the site plan stuff, which is outside and existing. We've been through that plaza multiple times. I mean, the biggest hurdle, I think, was the health department, and they're okay with it, so
Yeah.
there you go.
I was pleased with that. And he said as long as it has a self-closing door, that's what he really.
What's the business called?
Phoenicia Barber Shop.
The pizza place too?
Oh, Phoenicia Pizza 28.
Okay. No puns?
Yeah, no, actually, we kept the name Phoenician because of the whole internet thing.
Sure,
But
yeah,
it's hard.
it's more
People do not want to
searchable.
spell Phoenicia.
They absolutely do.
So all our emails get bounced back all the time, and they're like, it didn't go through, and I'm like, I just spelled Phoenicia.
It was
F-O-N-E-S-H-A.
on our stuff. In elementary school, for
Phonakai.
like first through like fourth grade, it was always on
Now,
our
let's see,
stuff.
F-O,
Yeah, lots of vowels in that one.
That is not spelled
Everything
phonetically.
So what hours are you open?
Pizza shop's open from 11 to 8, Tuesday through Saturday. It's closed Sunday and Monday.
Well, Sunday and Monday.
Yeah, well, we're family owned and operated, so this way it gives everybody a 2-day
Good for you.
breather and also the time to be together as a family, not just business
Uh-huh.
partners.
Good for you.
So,
That's what you do it for,
yeah,
family.
yeah, exactly. So,
Well-
they're all working hard tonight, so,
Well, thank you for coming in.
oh, thank
And
you.
best of luck with
Thank
your
you.
new business.
Okay, thank you so much. Have a good night, guys.
You too.
Can you want the store outside or that way?
Either way,
Where'd you park?
Go wherever you're parked.
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you so
of
much.
course. Take care.
I'll take this back.
Thanks.
Ready?
That was perfect. You practiced that. Don't lie.
What else?
Comprehensive plan wants, the comprehensive plan update committee wants comments from the planning board regarding what you guys think,
about
how
what?
you feel that what comes to this board could affect the future plan, essentially.
Well, I would put it that any issues with the current zoning code that you feel could be improved.
Is this zoning or
No, it's
comprehensive
not,
plan?
Because,
it's the comprehensive plan.
But this is the way it was put at the meeting as far as I understood. Was
I think
that-
there's a little bit of a, I think people are interchanging the idea of comprehensive plan and zoning too much at those meetings, at least a little bit too much. The zoning code will follow the comprehensive plan.
Comprehensive,
That's
it's
So
correct.
very
what sort
broad
of
strokes.
issues come before this board that you feel perhaps you've been inclined or not made to, but had to decline something that somebody wanted to do because of the code as it sits? So could the comprehensive plan address issues like that? What sort of issues have come before this board the most that you feel the comprehensive plan could address in a positive way? I think is
I think
the
that's,
best way to put it.
I like that.
I think that's the
very-
best way to put it.
Yeah.
I think
I
the
like that.
condos.
Condos, I know, everybody wants me to talk about condos.
well,
They don't
yeah,
want my opinion.
You know, you could not have it in the plan, or you could address it.
Well, the plan doesn't need to address condos specifically, but what the plan could address is multifamily housing and what that should, while everybody, I think, for the most part, Shandaken, there's consensus here that housing is an issue. But what the comprehensive plan could do for the community, in my opinion, is find a way to address housing that's in keeping with the area. So is condos a good way to do that?
It was
Are
the same. It's
5-6 unit buildings better, or that's what
Well,
I
no,
think.
but condos condos is an ownership. It's not what the building looks like.
Mhm.
So you could have a
Looking for what?
condo in 3 buildings,
Sure, of
2
course.
buildings,
Of course.
right. Or you can have 3 separate lots. But there are people up here that want to take a piece of property and design either condos or rentals and we don't have anything like that in our code.
Multifamily housing is almost strictly prohibited by our code. It's quite difficult
Right.
to build anything more than a two-family in Shandaken.
Right.
Quite difficult. And that is something that the comprehensive plan would likely address. A way in which to guide zoning following that comprehensive plan.
And the other thing would be like two-family housing and single-family zones.
Mm-hmm. ADUs by right as opposed to special use. That could be a possibility. Who knows? It's what the community wants. But specifically in this case, what does this board feel? What sort of issues come to you the most? That, in your opinion, or this board's opinion, require?
That was my.
To me, that was the big ones too, yeah.
Not just housing, anything. Signs, for instance. Do we like our sign law? I don't know. You guys talk a lot about signs. You talk a lot about ADUs.
Yeah.
Change of use.
There's a lot of
We do that a lot.
non-commercial property, a lot of special permits because there's not
Exactly.
commercially zoned property. That's
Because
certified
28
zoning.
is residential.
28 is residential.
The concept being try to get everything back in the hamlets.
Yeah.
But that doesn't work because there's no parking in any of the hamlets.
Correct.
Exactly.
So
Correct.
how can you get anything back in the hamlets if people can't?
I think I talk to at least 2 or 3 people a week who are interested in purchasing the Phoenicia Festival of the Voice building, to live in the house and do something in the church, some sort of a business. And this issue of parking in Phoenicia just keeps on coming up
Yeah.
Yeah, there's many.
over and over again.
I personally feel that our sign law is too restrictive because I want to be able to see the sign
Right.
as a consumer.
Well, I think it's different, right? Like, it's big enough in Phoenicia when you're going 20, 25 miles an hour, but when you're going 55 on 28,
Yeah.
that's totally different. And it's set back, you got 24 square feet set back 25 feet.
Yeah.
Well, the big thing is that pre-existing signs are much bigger than what we approve now.
Yes, much.
Okay,
Why
so-
wouldn't it?
And not only bigger, but more.
Yeah,
There's more
certainly.
3-footers around
Mm-hmm.
on one piece of property than there is.
Yeah.
So that's, so you have 2 restaurants, one that's opening tomorrow and one that opened 10 years ago. And we were trying to make the one that's opening tomorrow more restrictive than what exists anywhere. And that, I think, is the whole thing about making people come to the planning board and having all these rules when 90% of what's there doesn't obey the rule. I think that's the biggest problem.
That pre-existing non-conforming.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem we have.
Good point.
So that what happens is that there are lots of people that don't come here. They
Like
just do
to
what they
develop
want to do.
business or- Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Yes, that
Yeah,
happens a
they
lot.
just
You
do
do
it,
the
they
bo-
take
the
a
boards,
house
yeah.
and they make a storage unit out of it, or they make a business out of it, and they don't come to us.
Well, that's not a law issue, that's an enforcement issue.
Well, enforcement
coming
and
for you.
or,
What's that?
I said, now you're coming for me, that's not.
No.
it's not only
Teasing.
enforcement, it's more than that. They see around them everybody else doing what they want to do. And we only catch the ones that come here. We don't catch the ones that don't come here. I think that's a problem.
Well, I think with the comprehensive plan has to have direction first. And that gets a perspective drawn, and then our zoning goes for what they change, what they see the future might be, okay? And the other thing that you mentioned that's very complicated that nobody looks into is the signs. Well, we can change all we want, but we're in a Catskill Park, and the Catskill Park has sign regulations,
Well, sure.
and their sign regulations are a lot more stringent than ours. For example, the Catskill Park law says that signs can only be yellow and brown, period, in the Catskill Park. Nobody enforces it, but it's still their law,
Yeah.
you know? We give signs size and we
Right.
give lighting issues and things like that. But we're kind of flexible in what we do for the community.
Lighting is, that's a good point. There is technically no code in regards to lighting, technically. There's tiny little pieces of code, you can't shine it into your neighbor's property. Please don't do that. But is there a way for the comprehensive plan to guide zoning towards more of a dark sky compliance and make that more something that can be addressed by code? Or is that even appropriate? I don't know.
That's a perfect example of what the master plan should be doing. There's no longer lights used very seldom now for incandescent lighting.
Mm.
There's all different types. There's quartz halogen lights, there's LED lights, they're
Right.
all different brightnesses. So they should look through that and try to project what's gonna be in 5 years from now. What kind of light it's gonna be? Is it gonna be a remote light? You know, that can turn and capture
I
the
can probably get you one of those right now.
sign?
I can
Would
get you
that-
one with an app where you can change the color anytime you want.
Olivia, what about energy infrastructure upgrades?
Yes.
Like maybe updating Main Street in the process, because everything's gonna have to be upsized as time goes on, as more stuff,
Yeah.
as there are more needs put on the electrical grid, and maybe lines could be buried and, you
And
know,
that's
kind of
exactly what the
beautify Main
comprehensive
Street at the
plan
same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna throw away my propane tank.
You're not gonna have to, they'll take it.
Just put it by the creek and wait for a flood. That's where they used to go. That was a joke, for the record.
So should penalties be part of zoning codes, or that's not?
Penalties are assessed by the court.
Why?
I can only do so, I don't know. I mean, our code says most penalties, it's $250 a day up to this amount of money.
That's for the court.
That's
But
for the court.
when you get a traffic ticket,
Mhm.
well, say a parking ticket.
Mhm.
If you have a parking ticket, that doesn't have to go to a court. The-
No,
the
that's just
police
a
give
fee
you a
that's
parking
assigned.
ticket,
Yes.
right? So why can't we have fines like that? That doesn't have to go to a court.
Would that be appropriate? I don't know. We'd have to speak with,
You should like streamline the enforcement process.
Yeah. I mean, if you're saying we don't have enforcement,
Make it
we don't have
easier- make it
enforcement
easier to
because there's no
enforce.
fines for doing the wrong
it's
we
a-
thing.
have enforcement. I sit
It's-
here and
it's letter
enforce
of
all day long.
violation,
It's
appearance
notice of
ticket.
violation, it's order to remedy, it's an appearance ticket.
Yeah,
then
but
it's
that's what you're
500
talking about a
appearances.
court thing. I'm talking about a traffic ticket.
Right.
With a
I
zoning
do
So there
not
must
have-
be a
I
way to
certainly
do
do
it.
not have
There must be a
authority
way to
on
do it if you go through a camera that takes a picture of your car going through a
Mm-hmm.
red light, you don't go to court. You just get a ticket in the mail
Oh,
from New
you
York
can go to
City. No?
You can plead
go to
not
court if
guilty.
you want to plead it.
Yes.
Right. But if you want to pay it, you pay it.
No, no, no.
If someone has a sign that's too big and we give them a ticket, they can go to court if they want. But we have to first take them to court to do something about it.
And it takes a while to get there.
Yeah, there's
A
more
while.
steps.
Years.
Faster enforcement. Anything else?
You guys can discuss it. I don't know if anybody's coming to the workshop yet. I feel like it's these people that keep on calling about the Festival of the Voice building that I keep on telling them that the workshop is really their best chance at coming to you all with questions and the likelihood of things.
Well,
Because what they want to do is not the one guy wants to roast coffee beans, that borderline industrial use, that's the whole thing, but coffee shop,
in a
retail
church?
space, a museum, an art school. People have great ideas for the space,
But there's no parking.
but there's no parking, and so I can't guarantee them anything. Not that I ever guarantee anybody anything,
No,
but
they did find a very creative solution with getting permission
St.
from the
Francis,
Catholic
yeah.
Church.
technically there is no allowable use there right now, because they didn't meet, two of those qualifiers? The conditions on the special permit approval?
You know, it's funny that you said that.
That has
phrase.
fire egress issues and all kinds of stuff in there.
Well, sure, yeah. But the use itself that was approved by this board is null and void, because they had 6 months to build that fence, they didn't build the fence.
Right.
So what is allowable right now? This is mad.
It's funny that you said coffee beans. We had an issue with coffee beans, a roaster in Phoenicia. He put a
Coffee
building,
beans?
a coffee roaster in Beecher Smith's building. There were so many complaints that they did not give up for over 2 years, and he had to be taken out of there.
When were they roasting coffee
Smell.
in Beecher's building?
The smell.
When was this?
Back in the old days.
No, not
Hey,
Ten-
I'm old.
ten-
Hey, I might remember.
10 or 15 years ago.
No recollection.
It was longer than that ago.
Was it?
Yeah, 'cause I've been on the board over 10 years.
Do you remember? It was unbelievable
That's why I said back.
what
in the-
came in from the people. It smells like burning rope, it's disgusting, and
Yeah, that was the only one that when it was proposed to me, I felt like, oh, maybe they might have a little bit of trouble outside of parking being an
oh, the
issue.
health department was there several times, they had engineering involved in it, it became a nightmare.
Beecher Engineering Building.
So we should put it as a prohibited use in this.
Yeah, no roasting coffee beans
Yeah.
in a hamlet, thank you.
Well, yeah, you don't think about these things, you know, you never think about the fumes.
Yeah, I would, yeah.
And
I
everybody-
mean,
successful.
people
I mean,
think
they
it
was-
smells
They were
good, but,
saying that he's right next door, we're sitting at Brio's eating outside, and it smells like a fire next door.
yeah.
And Fleischman's has a successful gallery, art gallery, but there is a parking problem, but it only occurs like once every 2 weeks, once a month, when they have the opening.
It's not that I anticipate that the parking for these uses is gonna be a problem, it's that the code says if you wanna have a coffee shop, you must have 12 parking spaces, and they've got one. And we've got no municipal lot in Phoenicia.
You wrote parking on the master plan suggestions, right?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
In
I think
capital letters.
parking is the biggest issue
It really is.
that the town has.
Yeah.
Phoenicia, at least.
Yeah, we need to acquire some parking.
Well, Pine Hill is not any better.
They're gonna repave that municipal lot this summer.
Sometime.
In
Yeah.
Pine Hill,
The end of the summer, I think they plan on.
At
Pine
least
Hill
they have a
parking is
municipal
tight.
lot.
Yeah.
Used to be
Yeah.
when the restaurants were active.
Right, yeah, the lot used to fill right
Yeah.
Like
Small old
no
towns.
parking.
Fun stuff. Vivian, do you want me to put something together for the comprehensive plan about this, or do you just wanna take it out of whatever you wanna do?
Say that again?
Somebody's gotta present this to the committee, do you want me to?
I'm writing
Vivian?
it down.
Thank you. I appreciate you. And that's all I got.
Debbie?
Yeah. let's go. Anything else? Okay.
Well, I do have something. We're trying to find, come up with a survey to send out to the community. And come up with a list of questions that we think cover what the comprehensive plan should address and what the community thinks about it. Now, what I think is to have the question specific enough that we could actually make policy according to the answers, rather than, oh, we like the environment, you know, that kind of thing. So I would, I mean, does anybody have any ideas of whether we could use answers to questions to answer these issues here? In other words, these are very specific issues. And if we ask general questions like, what do you think we should change in Shandaken, we're gonna get general answers, or we're gonna get, I think the way that the surveys have been done previously is, how important is it to you to preserve the environment? That kind of general question.
Well, or how important is it to you to see the existing business models in Phoenicia, in Pine Hill, stay the same or change?
Right.
A comp plan is never gonna be that specific, never. That's not the intention of the plan, in my opinion.
But I mean, something like parking, I think people could answer a question about
Well, certainly, do you
parking.
feel like that
Yeah.
parking is an issue in this hamlet and that?
Or
Or
should we,
would you be willing to pay more taxes for the town to go out and buy a parking lot?
No, you can't ask that.
That's pretty exact.
Upset
Well,
the people.
That's pretty direct.
That's pretty exact, all right.
Right.
That's
But
very
Direct.
exact.
I mean,
I would
that's
love-
it.
I would love
That's
to
the
hear what
answer.
people
If so,
think
how much
about
more
that.
tax?
Yeah.
Exactly. Give us your dollar amount, thank
You
you.
better make this place 10 times the size it is now, so they can come up here.
But I mean, what do people think about what questions would be appropriate? I mean, we need input from as many sources as we can, because the committee is gonna put in their ideas. But you know, there's a few people on the committee that are already on boards, but,
Sure.
you know, we need planning board input.
Well, hence the list of suggestions from all the committees that we were supposed to go out and get. And those sorts of suggestions should be driving the survey and the planning going forward. Are you supposed to be live, Ellen? Because I don't think you're live.
She's not over there? Oh, then I have a question.
Don't leave that on me if
I
you're
have
going over
another
there.
guest. Is it running? Are you live now?
She's taping, but
Oh, because I had a question.
It just go
I
live?
need to be online.
I have a-
So I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Second?
oh no, you haven't been here long enough to second me.
So in other words, these things that I've got written down from our discussion about zoning and, you know, things that we need to address, possible zoning expansion, let's say, or changes, if we could put these in survey questions, so we could get some feedback. Okay, well, how do people feel about signs? How do people feel about expanding commercial zones?
Exactly.
I would
That's
like
exactly
to have
appropriate.
questions.
That's the
addressing
exact
that
kind of
kind of
thing
thing.
that I think the comprehensive plan could and should address.
Yeah.
I feel like that's stuff nobody thinks about till they're sitting here.
Yeah. Which
Well,
is why we
yeah.
want your input, because we value you.
But you know what, if people think about, well, do I want to see more stores on Route 28? Or don't I? Do I want to think that, do I want to feel like I'm in a rural community with no commercial activity? I mean, those are general questions, but if you ask them specifics, do you want more stores on Route 28? Then they start thinking, oh, that's what that means, you know?
No, I think that,
Yeah,
do you want to see more retail business along the Route 28 corridor is a specific enough question.
yeah, oh, yeah, yeah.
More business, less traffic.
More
I want
speed
more-
limit signs so that people will do the speed, that's what I want, but we're not allowed to address. If I could just do 55 on my way home, that'd be so cool.
Oh, you mean
Everybody
lower
does 40.
speed, you want higher
Everybody
speed
does
limits?
40, I don't know, the speed limit's fine, I just want more signs so that people will actually do
Oh.
the speed limit.
Like lights when the speed goes up.
They're going too slow?
They're going far too
Too
slow.
slow.
They don't understand. I live here. I get to spend like 2 hours in my house a day. I just
She
wanna
wants the
go
speed limit on
home.
Main Street raised to 55.
Oh, you
Definitely. Oh my God, I can have so much
You
fun.
live past Boyceville?
No, I live right in Phoenicia. I'm
Oh,
being a
but the-
baby.
But
I'm
the
being a
speed
baby.
limits are,
It's 55, but I'm never doing more than 45 on 28 half the
because
time. I
everybody's so
swear.
worried they're gonna get a ticket.
Well, I think either people go too fast or too slow, like Grace said. It's one of the two.
I go too fast until I'm forced to go too slow.
It's easy to miss when the speed limit goes back up. Very easy to miss that, especially at
I
night.
know, that's why I said more
Yeah.
speed limits.
I have a question. I'd like to
Okay.
ask the comprehensive board what their anticipation is to continue our primary resource in the town of Shandaken, which is tourism, and what we can do in the future to maintain people to come up and see our town. Why are they coming here? And what changes can we see coming up in the future? Because there are some things that I ask people from the city all the time, and some of the questions will knock your socks off, because it's just the opposite of what I thought.
Oh, let's hear what you're
I'll
getting.
give you a perfect example. I go down to the ice cream parlor and I buy people ice cream that are up here for weekends. And I tell them, I'm on the planning board in Phoenicia, and I'd like to know how'd you find out about Phoenicia? What brings you here? And I hear things like, my cell phone doesn't work, it's absolutely great, my boss can't get hold of me on a weekend. Just the opposite of what you would think.
Yeah,
And on the other hand, we need cell service for emergencies and things like that. But it's a very fine line between what we can do as far as development goes and not lose our tourist industry. people come up here, and I said with one fella, and I think I mentioned this at one other meeting, I bought him ice cream, and I sat down, and he said, "Thank you very much." I said, "What brings you to Phoenicia?" He says, "We love it up here." He had maybe an 18-year-old daughter and a 15-year-old son. And we're sitting there talking, and he turns around and he says to me, "Let me ask my children." He went like this, and he pointed to Main Street, and he says, what do you see here?" to his kids. And they said, "We don't understand what you're saying, Dad." He said, "Do you hear any sirens? Do you hear any horns blowing?" And he turns around and he looks at me and he says, "You know, we just went on the Rail Explorers. We went down the river on Rail Explorers, and I pointed out a bald eagle to my children." He said, "We watched a fisherman bring a trout in." He says, "It was absolutely wonderful. What a time we had." He says, "You know where I was last week? I was in China going 100 miles an hour on a maglev train." The two boys, the little boy turns to the daughter and he says, "You know, when we get older, what we're going to do?" I said, "What's that?" He says, "We're going to buy our parents a house up here because they're so calm when they come here." That's tourism.
I want to put Art on TV.
That's what
Art should be on TV.
You
It's like
should be
doing
on
public
TV.
service
Arguably isn't he on TV right
Interviews
now?
with
No,
Art.
this doesn't count on real TV.
What we should do.
A YouTube channel, oh my God. We gotta
What we
get
should do.
Yes, and you
Come
could,
on.
we could make money on it too.
I'm saying.
Hey,
What we should do, and what I try to do, every night at 7 o'clock, I go down to that ice cream parlor, and I ask people, why are you here in Phoenicia? What brought you here? How come you're here? John comes down with me now, and we listen to people, and we ask them, what brings you here? Tourism is our prime industry here. So, you know, we might want to put a whole bunch of stores along Route 28. Do the tourists want that, or do they want to get away? They say to me, Vivian, a lot of times, "We love this old town, nothing's changed." So
Except the Rail Explorers.
Yeah.
And the people along the Rail Explorers think that that's ruining their neighborhood.
we do.
Yeah, so it's
So
a very touchy
That's
kind of
exactly,
balance.
that's
Yeah.
exactly why I'm saying, what we have to do is we have to try to project what's coming, so we don't ruin what we have now.
You know, people want more tourism but less people, essentially.
Yes,
For the most
You
part.
want to feel like there's nobody here, but obviously people need to be here. So it's like off-street parking. It's
Yes.
more,
So the conveniences
you
that that
maintain, yeah, but you have
requires.
to maintain that rural feel while you're going about it.
Right, because that's where people come.
And,
Not just smash more people in.
and then with multifamily housing, it's like, how do you bring the two opposites together?
That's right.
You want places to live,
Yes.
but you don't want people to be here.
Well, that's and that goes back to zoning.
That- yes,
right?
but-
Where,
but-
the
and the
where and the
comprehensive plan
size and the
can-
setbacks
Yeah.
and the properties.
Theoretically, in a theoretical situation, the comprehensive plan could include something that's a suggestion to the town, that multifamily housing might be something that we need to look at, no more than this many units, and perhaps in these types of locations, so that the code can address the necessity that we have without impeding the economy that we live in, which is tourism. And that's something that the plan can address, in my opinion.
Well,
yes,
yeah,
but
very well
understand.
said.
It will still come out to increasing density.
In specific locations.
Right, right.
That's what, that's
nobody
what
wants-
drives it.
but we have mountains here, we have roads here that
Exactly.
nothing can
What
be
little
put
we
on.
have- Exactly.
So that
I completely agree.
you can never increase the density that much
No, I completely
because
agree.
90% of the place can't be developed.
Completely agree.
That's right.
I think it's more than.
Yeah, I think it's more than
frankly.
90%, yeah.
I
I
mean,
think it's more than
so
90%.
So
if you have multifamily housing at the end of the road, nobody knows that it's there even, except the people that live there.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
I have at the end of my road, I have 16 single-family, 5-acre lots that you can't build on. They're all subdivided, they're all approved and everything. That's owned by New York City. It doesn't pay taxes the way I pay tax on my single
Is it
5-acre
it's all too
lot.
steep, Alan?
They have 16 of them. There's a road there, which is now overgrown with trees,
So-
and there's a fence up.
New York
is it
City
too
bought it
steep? Is
after
that
it
why?
New
was
York State
subdivided?
bought it
Uh-huh.
after it was subdivided to prevent 16 people from moving in.
yeah. Well, that's one of our main issues, New York City and state-owned land,
Yeah,
you know? This is a very difficult situation, because like you said, Vivian, you try to do something that you're projecting to be right, and then all of a sudden, it just kicked the 10 other things.
Yeah.
You know?
This is why our code book is as thick as it is.
Well, this is the reason why, in my opinion, the comprehensive plan comes first. Then the ordinance, the zoning comes.
Well, that's
to-
the idea,
To
yeah,
suit that.
yeah.
You know, you can't put the cart before the horse.
I mean, that's pretty much the reason for having the comprehensive plan.
That's right,
Yeah.
so we can project and see what's gonna happen and make
Yeah.
changes.
You solve everything?
All the world's problems?
Is there any more,
Awesome, they're done.
is there any more, just one more question?
I know, I'm,
She's ready to go home,
Yeah, we're-
speed on the way home,
that's right.
ready to speed on
I
the way
don't
home.
speak that much, just enough.
You know how many tickets I have on 28?
How
In
many,
all the
Phil?
years? A lot. A
Yeah,
lot.
I don't have that many tickets. See, it's not, I don't speed too much.
Should
When
not
my
know
kids
what-
used to visit me, I used to well, we didn't have texting in those days. I used to email them, make sure you don't speed on 28. Every time, they wonder why I don't say it now, but they are a little older.
You know
They
what
can
the-
handle it.
Now the grandkids I have to tell, do not speed on
Well, they're
28.
supposed to tell their kids, this is generation.
Coming down the mountain, do not speed. There's always a state trooper on the way down the mountain.
Right at the bottom.
Yeah?
Tricky, tricky.
The things that I see now that are the most, U-turns in the Main Street Phoenicia.
No, that's not.
All weekend, everybody's making a U-turn.
Because it's that long that you can't go to the end.
Oh, gosh.
Well, how are you gonna turn?
I was gonna
mean,
say, yeah, how
I
you
go
make
into
a
the
U-turn,
parking
for
lot
sure.
by the arts and antiques, and I turn around the parking lot and come back. I feel kind of stupid doing that.
Really, some of these smaller cars, they just go, there's a car parked on one side and the other, and I said, they're never gonna make that. They turn in front of you.
It's really loud at work today. I'm having trouble hearing. Did somebody make a motion to adjourn?
Yes, that's
Yes.
you. You can't leave, we need the actual motion in the second,
Okay,
Art.
was it
So moved.
Okay, got it.
No.
He said yes.
Is she done?
He seconded it.
Yeah.
Yay, all
Yeah,
in favor?
okay. Yeah,
Aye.
Aye.
okay.
Winners, every single one.
Hey, Olivia? I'm gonna try from here. I'm just kidding.
Is this staying in the folder? This is staying in the folder?
Who is it?
Woodland Playhouse?
Yeah, she wasn't ready, so.
So we can leave this in the folder then?
Yeah, she'll be
Okay.
back.
Okay.
Nice. Come back.
So
She's ready next month.
you got a nice pen.
I saw that. I was looking at that.
The
Look at
farmer's
that
market.
color.
I met them last week. Nobody told
That's azurite.
Okay. But so this guy owns like 40 of them.
Yeah, he does.
68? 68 years.
So who was that guy that was presenting about the gas station complex? Was he wasn't, the guy sitting down was the owner, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
The fellow that presented it is Mike North, he's an engineering.
He's an engineer, okay.
Engineering business in Kingston.
It's a real challenge,
It is, yeah.
trying to get
I mean, it's complicated.
how to get as much as possible out of every square inch.
Yeah.